I need you to tell Molly what I'm saying, but you have to tell her word for word, all right? Word for word.
Yes. He wants me to tell you what he's saying word for word.
Molly, you're in danger.
Now, you can't just blurt it out like that and quit moving around, will you? Because you start to make me dizzy. I'll just tell her in my own way. Molly, you in danger, girl. What are you talking about?
I know the man who killed me.
He knows the man who killed him.
His name is Willie Lopez, and I know where he lives.
His name is Willie Lopez. He's Puerto Rican. He knows where he lives.
Write it down.
He wants you to write it down.
You write it down.
I ain't no damn secretary.
Just do it.
He's so testy. What is it you want me to write?
It's 303 Prospect Place, apartment 4D.
303 Prospect Place?
Yeah.
It's my neighborhood.
Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. We have our foot sort of half in October for this episode, which is fine.
Is it still spooky because it's called Ghost?
A little bit.
Okay. Well, listeners, my name's Pete.
And I'm Scott, and these are the movies that made us gay.
Yes, indeed.
A
Thanks
very
for
special
listening.
episode today. We are back with our friend Joshua Clement. Welcome back to the show.
Hello, guys.
Welcome back,
We
Josh.
last had you on for our Oscar special,
Yes.
and you are our resident Whoopi expert. So we had you over to watch Ghost, directed by Jerry Zucker, released July 13th, 1990.
All right.
July release.
July.
We were talking about that off mic that I feel, and you feel like it too, this is almost like an October or even a November movie.
Well, yeah, because there's even a little one scene where they give you the leaves
Sure.
changing colors and at the funeral, and it's just, yeah, it feels November to me. It feels cozy. There are sweaters going on at times.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, regardless, this movie made a massive amount of money in the summer of 1990.
Huge
and,
hit.
I mean, probably was in theaters for over a year, probably, of just how movies used to run back then.
That's how it used to be. I was talking to my dad. I think he probably saw it once back
Okay.
then and never
Okay.
again. But it just seems like one of those movies that everyone
Yeah.
saw
Oh, it was
at
a
least
massive
once.
hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw it in the theater. I remember that. I mean, yeah, it was ubiquitous, but it
Sure.
was one of those movies that was like so good. I mean, we talk about this so much in the show that we watched a lot of these movies that were not intended for 10-year-old boys. But I mean, this is one of those movies that I don't think by any means they were like, we're going to get those kids' asses in these seats.
Yeah.
But it was just the kind of movie that appealed to everybody.
Yeah.
Like we weren't there for the love story, but we were there for the intensity of the mystery, like the Whoopi of it all.
It's got the thrills. It's got the jokes.
I was going to say, with so many different genres, it's like
Yeah.
there's something for somebody to latch onto, no matter what.
Well, let me tell you this: what I had forgotten, or maybe I just don't think about it until I watch it each time, is that it's called Ghost, and it opens up. The whole opening credits are like, are they trying to trick us into this being a spooky movie?
A little scary.
Because it's like
Ghost.
It's in the upstairs of the loft. Well, yeah. First of all, it's like the title comes
Text.
on,
Ghost.
and it's very like a Blumhouse
Sure.
horror. Like
It's like, are we watching an Insidious
Yeah.
movie or something?
Like Twilight Zone lighting.
and then not only that, it's the dark, empty loft space with like shards of light like cutting through, and the music is a little like ominous, and you're like, are they trying to tell us that this is a spooky ass movie? And because it's called Ghost, and is that maybe? I mean, we really have to talk about the director. This is for all intents and purposes, this is a Zucker.
Jerry Zucker
movie.
working without his
brother.
brothers that they were well known for parody movies. I mean, Airplane, one of the great comedies of all time, as far as I'm concerned. Airplane.
The Zaz movies, the Zucker Abrams Zucker movies, Police Squad and Naked Gun in the first Airplane, not Scott's favorite.
I don't like Airplane 2.
Airplane 2.
They had nothing to do with.
I'll see you out the door. Airplane 2,
But,
not as good.
on a flight. You walked out of Airplane 2.
Walked out on a flight.
plane. But I don't know if that was maybe Jeffrey Zucker's sensibility of just like, this is not a horror movie, but we are going to goop these audiences with this opening credits sequence.
From everything that I've read about Jerry Zucker attaching himself to this material is that it wasn't that he was trying to distance himself from comedy. I think he just read the script and liked it. And he just had that sway at Paramount of, I want to direct this movie.
Cool. Yeah, and like with the writer kind of saying that he was inspired by Hamlet's ghost, and
Sure.
this,
I can see that.
this concept of revenge.
Bruce Joel
Yeah.
Rubin also won an Oscar for writing the movie, which is pretty cool.
Oh, this movie got the screenplay.
Got the screenplay.
This is a multiple Oscar award
Best
winning
Picture.
movie.
Best Picture nominee.
Yeah.
So what struck me so much, and I've seen this movie several times, right? Everybody knows Molly, You and Danger Girl, like all of that good stuff. What struck me about this movie, watching it in preparation for this episode, is that we're dealing with the afterlife. We're dealing with what happens when you die. This is the age-old question that humans have been pondering since time immemorial. And this movie is straight up like, the Judeo-Christian version of like heaven and hell, and your soul leaving your body Bugs Bunny style on the operating table going into the bright light above you. That shit's real.
Almost
and that's
with
what
like
it is.
almost like a Looney Tunes. They should be holding like a lily.
Harps.
A
lily
like
and a
angels come down.
Yeah.
It's like we're going to go hard on that. There's two choices.
They went real hard on just Judeo-Christian. This is it. The bright shining light or the other place.
You were good or bad.
Yeah. The bad place.
You better hope that you're not drugged to hell by the scary shadows. We'll get into that.
And I mean, the scary shadow people that drag you to hell has scarred a generation of people.
Definitely.
I can probably say, right? I mean, this.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I know we talk about our beginnings, but I think this was a film for me because I think I told you guys I came to it a little after Sister Act, despite the couple years difference.
Right.
But it was a film that when I went to my friend's house, there was always a Blockbuster VHS that was on by his, and I assume his mom.
Sure.
So this was one that would come on frequently. And I remember being scared by, Subway Poltergeist first.
Sure.
And so that was kind of my in of like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
I'm a little scared by it.
Yeah.
So, especially as a younger kid. And then coming into what the story was really about, this love story and Whoopi, the whole deal.
Yeah.
But I just remember being like, what the hell? and blending into this consistent thing of, especially when Scott and I were younger, of just scary-ass New York.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You go to New York, you will be mugged and probably shot on the street.
I think that I was listening to our one of my favorite podcasts, That Aged Well, Paul and Erica, native New York, like they're New Yorkers, and they were saying that it's almost like a gag all these years later when they talk about the crummy areas, Prospect Place.
Yeah.
But I guess that Prospect Place now is like a really nice neighborhood.
Brooklyn
That it almost works as a joke.
Right.
Prospect Place, Willie?
I mean, and how many people today, I know obviously things happen anywhere, but like coming home to your nice Soho apartment from your Shakespeare show and like that's where you're going to get mugged. I mean, it does happen. But
Yeah, that's right. I hadn't even thought about that when we were watching this, but yeah, Prospect. But I mean, that's the thing too. Like Harlem and Hell's Kitchen and like all those areas that were notoriously not great.
They've all been gentrified now.
Are all thanks Clintons.
Kind of like you, I think that I came to this movie when I was a kid after Sister Act. That I remember, I think, watching this movie with my grandparents. I just have a specific memory of watching this with my grandma and grandpa. Because I think that they just had the tape. Because that's the thing, is that when this movie came out on video, I think it sold a fuck ton of copies. Yeah. It was one of those probably home video VHSs that was kind of affordable. Like it wasn't super expensive. Like you could
It
probably
was one of the
you could probably
earliest
pick it up
ones.
for like $25
It was one of
at
the
grocery
earliest
store.
ones because I remember specifically seeing it at the video store, and they had copies to buy.
Yeah.
And at the video rental store, I mean, this is 1990. There may have been blockbusters at that time, but they were not far. I think people have this what am I trying to say? They're remembering it wrong.
Yeah.
Blockbuster was not ubiquitous in the 80s, and they were barely ubiquitous in the early 90s.
Yeah.
They were around, but they were not like they were in the late 90s.
They kind of hit
right?
their stride around 95.
So,
yeah.
but that's neither here nor there. But the video rental store I remember had Ghost, and it was one of those things. And you know, for the early 90s, I was like, "Oh, you can buy these. That's a good idea. How much?" And I'm just asking the guy, like, I had any money. What am I, 11? I'm like, "How much is Ghost?" And he's like, $80. I was like, "Oh, okay,
Okay."
But the video rental stores did sell their first run movies for a lot more. I know that you could go to your Target or I mean, the Best Buy wasn't around either. What did they have? Like Montgomery Ward.
Yeah.
And, you know, and buy the movie, and they would be at a discounted rate. But the video rental stores, I remember specifically, and telling my dad, it costs $80 to buy a movie? And he's like, here it does. We'll just go get it at like Kmart or whatever, and it'll be cheaper. And then they had it for $25 or $30, and then eventually they went lower until movies like $11. But I have a specific memory of asking because it was one of the first movies that I remember seeing in a video store to buy.
Sure,
that it was behind the counter and it was wrapped up, and I was like, "You can buy that." Yeah.
Even this poster and the cover just being so
Yes.
ingrained.
Sexy cover too.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie has a reputation. It is cliche now.
Oh, it's
Like,
everyone's mom's favorites. Like they're the most. If you ask like somebody's mom, what's like the sexiest scene in movie history, you're probably gonna get the pottery scene from Ghost.
And wash your damn clay hands before you get in bed.
There is a quick cut, and all of a sudden their hands are
Clean.
spotless.
Yep.
But you know,
They washed up. There you go.
you know, it has this reputation for being a super sexy movie, but I mean, this cast,
Oh yeah.
hubba, everybody,
And
Demi, top of our game.
Demi, Patrick Swayze, Whoopi, and we were talking right before we recorded that I think probably every huge A-list star was considered for both of these roles. Like you look on IMDb and you just see everybody. Tom Cruise.
Yep.
Who else?
And and I know
Everyone,
I know her name has to come up every episode, but I think of the alternate universe where the studio execs love Nicole Kidman's tape so much that they moved it up the ladder, and she was then basically translated into Days of Thunder. But which is the same year.
Sure.
But it makes you wonder.
But like, are we going to take a gamble on this beautiful actress that's pretty good, but the co-lead of this huge movie with Paramount?
Right.
Yeah.
Not big enough at the time, yeah.
But what would it have been like with Nick? Oh,
I could definitely see somebody like Tom Cruise in this role.
Yeah, what if they meet on this one instead?
instead of Days of Thunder.
Yeah, Tom, and it's really interesting because when you read about some of the decisions, they make it sound like a lot of the actors, especially the men, turning the role down because it's so reactive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You don't get to do. You're not always the focus.
He's almost talking to himself most of the movie, and then when he does, he kind of talks with Whoopi. But that's true. He's reacting to everything around him, and I think that you're right.
Letting other people shine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you just look at on IMDb trivia: Nicolas Cage, Alec Baldwin, Kevin Bacon, Johnny Depp, David Duchovny. That would have been interesting. Harrison Ford, Mel Gibson,
David
Tom
Duchovny
Hanks,
wasn't getting no
Paul
lead
Hogan.
in 1990.
Could you imagine Paul Hogan? Paul Hogan in this role.
I mean, America was having a love affair with Australia.
John Travolta wishes that he could have been considered for Ghost. I mean, I get that. Look Who's Talking was a big deal, but I don't know if 1990 could
maybe that would have been his big comeback.
Maybe that would have been.
Wasn't he a ghost or a dead guy later? Was it
Michael?
Michael.
He was an angel.
And Michael. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, let us not forget one Mr. Anthony Goldwyn in this movie.
Oh.
I'm here to tell you when they are knocking down those walls in the loft in the beginning of this movie.
Shirtless.
And they're both shirtless.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Goldwyn's body he's bigger than Swayze.
Yeah.
His body, he's bulkier than him. His shoulder, he's literally bigger than
that's the thing about
Patrick
Swayze is that he's a well built, but he's very compact.
Well, he's a dancer, so
He has the dance body. Yep.
Probably coming off Roadhouse, right? Like,
yeah.
And I mean, this is the first shot we get of humans, and it's that, and it's that,
and it's these two.
Yeah. Serving body covered in dust.
I mean, I don't know if
and chalk.
when I am renoing my loft, I don't know if I'm doing it shirtless. But I mean,
it's hot. It's New York City. It's humid. You know,
you don't know if you're gonna slam up as your first thing.
I mean, there's gonna be like debris that's gonna hit you.
And Demi, the hair.
Yeah.
Just so cute.
Now, is this the first time with Demi with short hair?
I think so, because I think it was a surprise to the director when she showed up.
Yeah. Just very known for that raven long hair. Raven beauty.
Yeah, she had long straight hair, and she still does to this day. But she also became kind of known for this short hairstyle at this time. After this movie, it kind of became like, oh, the Demi Moore look. Yeah. I was just watching Roseanne with Danielle Harris, and she mentioned wanting to chop off her hair like Demi Moore in Ghost, and Darlene was not impressed.
Really influential.
It really was. When it reaches the sitcoms, it's an influential haircut.
Yeah.
Now, what was Demi coming off of?
Oh, I don't know.
Prior to this,
I don't know. You're the one with IMDb open. I feel like she was a big bankable star at that time, but I think this was the one that really
really broke her through.
Yeah, I think the director had seen her. Was it maybe the Seventh? I think it's called the Seventh.
Oh,
Sign
the Seventh Sign.
So I think.
Ooh, the Seventh Sign was good. That was about like she was pregnant with Satan's baby.
Yeah. So I love
she
that
can do one. Yeah, it's a really corny like take on the Omen, but she's still pregnant with the baby. Yeah. And all the signs start happening from Revelations, and I went out and grabbed the Bible, and I was like, "Ooh, it's real."
But Goldwyn.
But let's talk about Tony Goldwyn.
Not even 30.
Oh my.
And this is an actor who, to this day, that body hasn't quit.
No. Yeah, and
if anything, he looks better now.
And again, I was 11. When this movie is out, I'm watching it in theaters. Patrick Swayze, Roadhouse. Swayze's already a big name.
Yeah,
he's got the bod. He's like in this movie, Dirty Dancing, all that stuff. I'm like feeling some type of way to myself. And Tony Goldwyn, the villain of this movie, he pays like a hitman. Well, he doesn't pay the hitman to kill Sam.
He was just supposed to take his wallet.
But he's the bad guy in this movie. But and young Pete in movies, I'm very easily swayed by like, this is the good person, this is you hate this person, blah blah blah. And I know Tony Goldwyn has stories about like ladies slapping him in the grocery store because of Ghost. But I specifically remember seeing him for the first time in this movie and just being like slapped across the face, just like oh my God, this man is making me feel some type of way. His face, the body, all that's the hair, just like very, just like tousled, easy. Like I'm not gonna come. I just was like, oh my God, something about this
just
man
looks like the statue of David.
Yeah. In 1990, it was just like, all right, I do not like women anymore. Or ever.
I mean, and these two friggin' pranksters.
I mean,
at the beginning of this movie, showing up to work.
These two youngsters.
I do remember when I was a kid and not picking up on the elevator scene that it's a joke. Like, I think I took it a little too literal, and I'm just like, oh man, oh God,
oh no.
Oh no!
The rash in his genitals. The rash in his genitals. That was real.
Yeah. If it wasn't enough to make you gay right away, we're getting abs and genital talk within the first 10 minutes.
And Tony Goldwyn as, first of all, Carl Brunner. Can we get a more German name than this?
Yeah.
Is that Jerry Zucker like sticking it to those Germans?
He's going to be evil.
Like he's going to be evil German guy. Carl Brunner is very handsy with Sam Wheat.
Yeah.
At the early scenes of this movie. And I think that's just a very like, oh, you guys are bros. Just you're gonna be
Couple
all,
of bros,
all
yeah.
chummy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his arm around him,
Little
like
suspenders.
like he's very hands on with his friend Sam Wheat, and like they're walking into this office. I mean, the elevator was a tight situation because those '80s offices.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how crazy they were with the ladies in the sneakers and the.
And of course, we're hit right away with Sam. Oh, hey, whatever your name is, you look good today.
I was literally looking up that character's name right now.
The
because I was
secretary?
like,
Secretary.
Sam
Immediately.
Wheat. Susan does not need you to tell her that she's looking
Just let
good.
Susan do her damn job.
Let her do her work.
Is that how we need to greet her to start the day?
Yes, come on, Sam. You're better than that. Do better. This office. I mean...
All these
blue
chairs.
I think there was blue carpeting, blue like velvet like chairs that were kind of not desk chairs. They were just kind of against pillars, and it was like pre-cubicle.
Yeah, we're like semi-open floor plan with meeting rooms. Yeah.
But they also were like really nice, ornate like wooden desks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they were just scattered around this big office space.
Yeah, maybe ahead of its time in certain ways with that setup.
Give me a cubicle. I don't need to be in everybody's business.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also loved that in the 80s, it was just like when you grow up and go to work, you will wear a suit with suspenders and work in finance.
Apparently.
Somehow.
So what exactly do they do?
We're in Wall Street.
Yeah, they're a bank.
And we're...
They're literally on Wall Street. Like the bull is like outside of their door.
But this is a good question because we know they're transferring funds.
Sure. Yeah.
But
some sort of banking... something.
Well, isn't
they're
it
handling other people's finances?
What does Whoopi do in Jumping Jack Flash? Doesn't she transfer money between accounts and banks, right?
Yeah, but not at the level they're doing.
Yeah.
She's not in like suspenders and a 3-piece suit.
And like,
she's in a cubicle.
Yeah, and like there's like kind of some the firm shit happening here because it's
Yeah.
like we got the Bank of Nassau. Like,
Yeah, offshore banking. This is
Offshore accounts that have too much money in them.
We have a lot of questions, and
Yep.
one of those questions is, who is Rita Miller? And what are they doing with her $4 million? Is she a fake person that they've made up
and
to funnel all the money?
Exactly. And it is Carl, for a guy working in finance, he just suddenly can't resist stealing money.
Yeah.
Maybe this is Carl's like long con.
He's
game.
now seen the millions.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I kind of
and
thought
he
that
wants
he was going to have some like loan sharks or like the mafia after him that he had to pay back, but
Right.
I don't think that's quite the case.
he has no remorse in it.
There was a line about. I don't think that Carl was going to get $4 million. I think I think there was a line that he was going to get like 80,000 or something, or maybe I heard that wrong.
Yeah.
But I think the money is like going to be spread out amongst other crooks.
Right.
And now that it's completely gone, he's the one that's on the hook for it. Right. And so the other crooks, I mean, if he got Willie Lopez, who's Puerto Rican, to come after, all those other guys are going to get even worse people to come after him. So I think we're not supposed to think too hard about it.
He's just nosy from the beginning.
Yeah.
He wants your password so he can...
That damn code in Patrick Swayze's teeny tiny little black book. It was so small. I was like, why is that book so small? And they do make kind of a reference to like... Carl's like, I need that password. Mm-hmm. And he's like, ugh. But Sam is so frazzled with...
The Japanese clients?
The clients and like something's going on that he's just like, fine. And like he gives it to him, but then he changes it.
Right.
Because the next scene in the office, he's like, your password's not working anymore. He's like, oh yeah, I changed it.
And
because I let you use it, you stupid bitch. Yeah, we have a lot of questions about the job, but I think we have even more questions about this loft.
Oh my God. So in sort of the grand tradition of
people living above their means in movies.
Living above their means in New York City in lofts. I mean, does this kind of take the cake as one of the best ones? I was trying to think today of just the all-time great unrealistic movie lofts, and Ghost is pretty much there.
So it's nicer than Tom Hanks in Big.
Yeah, because I mean,
Because it's for grown-ups.
Because Tom Hanks is in Biggs is that it's a nice loft, but it's considerably smaller.
Yeah. And he's just renting it.
Like, he's got the high thing with the windows. But yeah, this is nicer. This is multi-level.
I was wondering if
the levels, I can't.
I was wondering if it's in the same building as Three Men and a Baby, and that ridiculous loft with various rooms.
That was like an Art Deco building. That was like a high-rise. Yeah, that loft is crazy.
Also, one of my favorite...
there's like areas of it that are like different. Yeah.
Also, one of my favorite movie lofts is in the Griffin Dunn movie Addicted to Love.
Oh, that's a good one.
Where Kelly Preston lives, and there's the other abandoned lot that they're spying on Kelly Preston.
Well, is that the ghost house? Is that the ghost building? Because
it could be.
This is abandoned loft above abandoned loft above abandoned loft. They knocked down like 2 to build the one that they're in, and then there's still an abandoned one above them, where they have the final showdown.
Was this a time in New York City where there was just all of this space that
there was in
just...
L.A.?
Well,
there was in L.A. All the lofts that people live in now in L.A. at this time were completely abandoned and empty.
Like
all the factories, all
homeless
that shit,
people living in them?
No, they were just empty because you couldn't get up there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I guess it's on the Upper West Side or East, but
I can't tell.
But your favorite shared single white female When Harry Met Sally.
I love the When Harry Met Sally apartment
because it's the same one, right, with the windows as single white female.
Oh shit! Is it?
I think we decided it's the same.
Oh
one.
my god, that's funny.
It
the
makes
arch,
sense.
Like curved one. Oh, that's funny.
That's pretty big.
You know what they give us the opening credit montage of them knocking down the walls, and they're just like, wow, look at all this space, it's great, it's perfect, la la la. And then boom, smash cut, Gilligan's Island, the scene like
fully finished,
completely finished,
all done.
But
we had to bring in that freaking angel.
They had to bring in the angel.
What are they doing with this angel?
Well, Molly is an artist, but I think
a little,
if you look at some of her, she is a little Delia Dietz level with some of her sculptures. Because she does the pottery and all that. That's one thing.
That probably just like pays the rent.
But there's like
there's crazy pieces.
Big sculptures in there, and I'm assuming they're Molly's. And yeah, I think Molly's supposed to be a little like kooky, avant-garde, free spirit lady,
and the angel just to be a little on the nose.
Right.
Do you know what we were noticing about the kitchen? Is that there is like a little house for the fridge.
Oh. They didn't utilize the space right. The fridge is not against the wall. If you imagine this entire apartment is open concept, right?
Right.
So the kitchen is not a room in the loft. It's like against one wall. And there's an island that's like a kitchen island.
Yeah.
The fridge is like
it's in the middle of the room.
It's not against the wall. It's like 90 degrees from the wall. But it's housed inside of like a weird like Pee-wee's Playhouse like grandfather clock casing that it's just sitting in to kind of make a little wall or something.
Yeah, there's
delineate the kitchen room.
There's kind of like a divider up for the kitchen too.
Yeah, it's a little funky. It's a little like that Memphis-y style, that like 80s Memphis art style because of the like angular shape of the little like hutch that the fridge is in.
I mean, no hand railings on these stairs.
I will never get over the stairs.
Your mom's not coming over.
No.
We need much more safety than this.
We need some handrails.
I do not think that this is up to any sort of health code. Like what kind of and what inspection is that going to pass?
I mean,
None.
It's a residence, I guess. So I guess they can do what they want.
And you know what? They're not thinking this through because the priority is about the pottery nook.
I mean, and they have to have space for the jukebox.
Yeah.
The 45.
Yeah.
This full jukebox. I think you have to have your house up to some sort of code. You can't just have it willy-nilly. That's dangerous. Like, you definitely can't sell it that way.
Yeah.
You're not going to sell that. Molly is not going to sell this until she puts up hand railings.
When she puts that on the market, she's going to have to put up some hand railings.
Yeah. She doesn't need all that space.
Even Halston had hand railings.
I mean, come on. This is like a supervillain lives there. But, you know, other than some weird touches, it's a cool spot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not mad at it. But I guess we're just assuming that Sam does that well. Because, let's face it, she's an artist. Come on. How much is Molly pulling in?
She's trying to sell these pieces,
Yeah. So I guess Sam's doing that well that they can buy this space, completely renovate it.
I mean, I hope that he didn't leave her with that mortgage.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing. Now she's got to stay there. They're not even married.
It's glamorous Wall Street,
Come
New York
on,
in the 80s. Greed is good.
Yeah. And, but I mean, we can talk endlessly about this damn loft.
Yeah, it's very fascinating.
It's beautiful, but it's weird, but it's, I don't know. Got that Indian head penny in a jar.
Yep.
That was cute.
Come back into play.
Yeah, and they wrote on it in like nail polish or something. I think did it say for luck or like good luck or something on the jar?
I didn't catch that.
The jar
That's
that she rolled down the stairs
Right.
and shattered into
Yes.
a million pieces. She forgot she has a cat.
The cat gets its critical moment.
Yeah. So yeah, Carl is a little shifty from the beginning, and you know, I kind of forget how early in this movie, that Sam gets offed. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I mean, it's the title of the movie, Ghost. He's got to be a ghost.
Yeah, you got to
than later.
You got to get the story going.
He's got to be talking about death and scared he's going to die in a plane crash. Yeah. And, you know, we just got to hit it real fast.
Yeah. But yeah, that right out of the gate, we get the whole like the lights coming down from above, and
with that cool kind of editing fake out where he runs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
And
love it. Yeah, that's very effective.
I think there's some visual effect work where they
but he's talking about how like at first it's the struggle and you hear the gunshot, but you don't see Sam go down.
You
It
see
cuts,
him run after
and
him.
you see him run after Willie Lopez.
Yeah.
And so you're just like, oh, okay, like the gun just went off or whatever. And then it cuts back to Molly, who is now traumatized and scarred for life.
Oh, she's never getting over that.
Holding her dead, maybe fiance.
Not all the therapy in the world.
Bleeding out in the middle of the meatpacking district.
Just got to scream for a few minutes. People will eventually come over.
Yeah, these two poor guys that are just walking down the street like, oh my God, should we help her? What do you do? You're walking down the street, you hear this woman. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Shot by Willie Lopez, played by Rick
Aviles.
Yep.
He was I guess a comedian, an actor.
Was he a comic actor?
Apparently.
Okay. He's gay too.
Yep.
I guess there was some.
Or is there questions
there
about
were some
it?
questions about his death because it was AIDS, but then there's whether it was heroin based or not.
Right.
Sure.
Right. Okay. All right.
But,
It's his big breakout. Or no, I guess this was his big breakout. I guess, and he later followed this up with Carlito's Way.
I was gonna say he is one of those faces I knew from something
Right,
else.
yeah.
But he's also
same.
in Cannonball
Yeah.
Run.
Okay.
Okay. I think that was kind of his first big job. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
We got to point out later, like you said, he is Puerto Rican.
He is Puerto
Rican.
Okay, so I want to talk about the ghost rules in this movie.
Sure.
Okay.
And they set up some interesting rules that they use to pay off later on. Sam ends up at the hospital. And there's some things that I think a lot of people kind of like start trying to poke holes through, with the like, he can move through doors and he can move through objects.
How is
but,
he
like,
sitting down in a chair?
How is he not falling through
How is he
I don't care about all that stuff. It
He's a
doesn't
ghost.
matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a ghost. And it's like, it cuts to the hospital. And it's like, maybe his ghostly consciousness just woke up at the hospital. You know what I
Just
mean?
showed
It's
up
like,
there.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Like, it does. He's a ghost. Like, we have to just like give it.
Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
And I like the hospital scene, especially with
Love
the
it.
old guy.
Love
'cause
it.
Yeah.
I love this concept of kind of you're still here if something is unfinished.
Yeah.
Where the old guy waiting for
Waiting
his
for his
partner,
wife,
waiting
yeah.
for his wife,
Yeah.
and then he would be able to go up
Yeah.
to the starry land.
Yeah.
Or was
Sorry,
the
heaven.
old guy just there to help her on her journey? Like he just sort of popped in.
Right.
Well, the whole thing too, it like brings up the question of like, okay, Sam saw his light and he walked away from it because of Molly.
Right.
And it's like, how many people would do that? Like a lot, probably. A lot of people who die prematurely or didn't want to go yet or whatever would probably just kind of say, oh, that's heaven clearly, so I'm not going to go. And they don't really answer like,
was he allowed to because there was that unfinished?
Or you're going to get another chance if you finish this off, or you're going to get another chance in 100 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just all kind of amorphous and left for us, but that's fine too.
I think it all works.
Yeah. And, we do see other ghosts in the movie. They're not everywhere, but they're there. And when they are used, I think they're all used really effectively. I love the way every ghost is used in this, starting with the old man in the hospital, who is in Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, Phil Leeds.
He's in the hospital scene in Rosemary's Baby. And then we do see a man on an operating table go up with like the harp and
I love
the
the
lily.
old guy. Well, he was one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, could have been the other guys. Yeah. And you're like, ooh. So that's another good setup and payoff for later on with like the shadow people and all that. But yeah, you kind of get this whole like, okay, you get your chance. He missed it because of whatever. And when, Sam's not interested in when am I going to get to go. Right. Sam's just interested in like Molly.
Making sure Molly's okay.
Yeah.
And then the subway must be purgatory.
I guess so. I love Subway Ghosts.
Vincent
Scavelli.
Scavelli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Vincent Scavelli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He's also in Better Off Dead.
Great.
He's in a lot of things. He married Elise Beasley, who was Agnes DePesto on Moonlighting.
Oh my God.
She was the kind of like goofy receptionist on Moonlighting, and those two were married for a while. Yeah, Vincent Scavelli played this. I mean, look at him. He played like a kind of a kooky guy in everything that he was in.
You like trains?
Trains. Yeah. Who sent you? Oh, man. All that stuff is great. Teaching him how to interact with objects.
Because he seems like, he even references like, I didn't kill myself or something, right? I wasn't supposed to go this way. It's almost like he's stuck there.
Yes.
Unable to go to either place.
Yeah. Because if he was pushed, or if he did jump, whatever reason, it wasn't his time yet.
Right.
And so he probably was like, I'm not going. So he skipped out on his light.
Or is it some like Beetlejuice things that he can't leave the subway somehow?
Right. When he leaves the subway, he goes to Venus. Sure. Sandworms.
He's just there to yell at other ghosts and maybe
keep him off the train. Yeah. But that's another thing, too. Like, Sam the Ghost, to get to Prospect Place, has to take the subway.
There's no ghost flying here.
No, there's no not like Genie like putting his arms together and like blinking off to like.
Gotta take the damn subway.
Yeah, he's gotta take the damn subway. Follow Willie Lopez with an open, bleeding cat scratch wound down his face. Walks down the subway platform. It's still blood on. He has not wiped it off.
His apartment with nothing in it.
That sad, dingy apartment.
Pretty close to.
Oda Mae Brown. I mean, and that is fucking genius. It's all in the script. Yeah. He leaves the apartment and he's like, "Holy shit, where the fuck am I?"
You're in Bed-Stuy.
Yeah, and that is that like white alive Sam Wheat going, ew, what am I doing here? How the fuck did I get here? And how do I get home? But yeah, he sees spiritual advisor, Sister Oda Mae.
So good. Played by the one and only Whoopi Goldberg.
$20 on the outside side.
$20, yeah.
Get you started.
Yeah.
Have either of you ever been to like a psychic like this?
Not like that. I've had my palm
I'm always very fascinated when you're like driving around in LA and you see places like this.
Oh yeah. And a huge thing, especially growing up in the Valley here, that I drove past one every single day of going to school.
There's one in Alhambra that's in like a little coffee hut.
No, it's not a coffee hut. It was a photo mat.
A photo mat. Yep, an old photo mat.
Because we didn't have coffee huts in Alhambra. We had photo mats.
And sometimes, Scott, it's their actual house.
Yeah. The one in Pasadena.
Was.
With the wizard.
Yep.
They had like a full-on like Merlin Gandalf stained glass window on the front. And it was their house.
It's their house.
Pink. The photo mat lady, though, in Alhambra across the street from the Wendy's, It's gone. The photomat's gone. We drove past it the other day, and I was
not
like,
there?
"Oh, it's gone!" And you were like talking or looking at something or on the phone or something, so I didn't say anything. But I was like, "It's gone."
The spiritual advisor went with it.
Yeah, but then she saw that coming.
Zing.
Yeah,
Her sisters. I love her sisters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like working it out. You know,
They had this whole routine of how they like present Oda Mae Brown to whoever is getting like the reading.
I love like does the closet have like a
I think so.
a false door?
Yes.
Because she opens a closet and makes this big deal of like, look, empty closet. And then closes it. And then
Now
like,
there she is.
And there she is. Oh, my God. Well, and she ran in there, and Willie Lopez didn't go it. I don't know. He shot. I don't know. Well, let's just say there's a trap door there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess at this point in Oda Mae's like life, this is a grift, right? She's not.
Yeah.
She kind of said it like
She says that her mother had it
And her grandmother
her
had it.
grandmother had
the gift.
the gift, but she just assumed that it just skipped her.
She had to be a charlatan. She didn't get the gift.
Yeah. Until Sam Wheat comes in there. That scene is so great, though.
Yeah.
So good.
Like all the stuff with her doing the same, both scenes with
Sam
like,
Wheat.
Sam Wheat. And the woman like, I'll pay you more, and she's like, oh, so funny.
And getting all the things wrong about her husband.
Oh my God.
Now,
Lucita? Maria, yes.
He looked handsome.
From what I've read, Jerry Zucker kind of had to stand really hard for Whoopi.
Yeah, and that was fascinating. I mean, I don't know if it was just the time of the '80s, but
Yeah.
hearing like Tina Turner and Patti LaBelle, and
Oh,
I
my
guess
goodness.
Oprah had read for it, and just hearing the choices. And,
Wow.
And Whoopi, even with The Color Purple and this career behind her,
Yeah.
just coming around, taking a long time to get back.
Our favorite jumping jack Flash.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, she was a bankable star at that point, but I think her big kind of movie run dwindled a little bit after Fatal Beauty and
Burglar.
and Burglar.
Yep.
So maybe she wasn't quite as bankable. She was in the early to mid 80s, so it was like a downward slump movie-wise for her, possibly. But was Patrick Swayze kind of somebody that was championing her?
Yes, he did champion
Yeah,
her,
that's good.
And I know that the two remained very close
Yeah.
in the years after the movie, too.
I mean, didn't Patrick Swayze just have a reputation for just being like everybody loved him?
Oh, yeah.
Like everybody liked liked
Even
him. Yeah.
even like Jennifer Grey, and I know that there's been
she's kinda salty.
countless stories of them not getting along on set. I feel like
oh, that's right.
I feel
forgot.
like
yeah.
even Jennifer Grey just will never say an ill word about Patrick Swayze now.
Well, you can't speak ill of the dead.
That's because
have
they
eerie
were
powers.
and also that's because they were probably like fell for each other as they were making it.
She came around.
Oh my goodness, he was a married man. But yeah, Oda Mae Brown is great. I love this unit that she's in. This wig is.
Oh yeah,
It just works for the character.
just quintessential '80s. It's like, yeah, in Sister Act we got like a more full kind of curly.
Yeah.
But this is like,
It's just like ladies' hair that.
And I love when she goes out to Molly's apartment with Sam. Is that
her costume?
Her going
costuming?
out?
Yeah.
Her going out like
yeah. Her looks are great.
and getting shit done.
Yeah.
like
She
we
has-
remember that, all the floral, the fanny pack.
The fanny pack.
definitely, yeah. Interesting, like little note. There's a scene in her apartment that she shares with her sisters when they're watching Arsenio.
Yes.
And the sister wants to watch Love Connection, and Whoopi's like, "That's Arsenio."
And Pete was just like, at this time, would Love Connection had been on that
well,
late?
Arsenio was a late night talk show, and he was on at 11 in L.A. And I know that L.A. and New York typically had similar programming, so I'm thinking that he would have been on at 11 p.m. if not later in New York City.
Was it live for
And
New
I'm
York
thinking-
and then it was
No, his show was in syndication. I don't think it was live.
Oh, okay.
I think they just pre-taped it and then just sent it out.
You're like, is that really the counter programming?
Right? I'm thinking that Love Connection is a 7 p.m. game show, not a late night show.
I was kind of wondering
But
if they would
probably
just
rerun
if
it.
they would just rerun it later in the night. Sure.
It was like watch at 7 and again at 11.
She had submitted her photo.
Yeah.
For Love Connection.
Love Connection was wild. Do you remember watching Love Connection?
I have watched some.
Oh man, that show was nuts. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Chuck Woolery. Oh fuck Chuck Woolery though. He's like a big old Republican weirdo now. Sorry.
I mean, I think that my favorite scene in the entire movie is Whoopi outside of Molly's apartment when she buzzes it and she's just like, well, looks like she's not home. Yeah. Like, nice knowing you, Sam.
Yeah.
But her yelling at Molly outside of the loft,
screaming up,
is so funny.
Hey, Molly. Molly Jensen, I know you're up there. I know you hear me. I'm down here. Sam wants to talk to you. This is for real. Hey, you remember the starfish in Montego Bay? How would I know that if he wasn't here? Hey, Molly, I know about the green underwear that you wrote your name on. I'd never get over that, I'll tell you that. I know about the picture in Reno. Hey, Molly.
It's about the sweater she knitted in the closet that's too big.
He just asked me to remind you of the sweater that's in the closet that you knitted is too big. 4 sizes. Hey, you hear me talking to you?
I hear you.
Ah, shut up. Nobody's talking to you.
Didn't you ever hear of a phone?
Wanna kiss my butt? I'm not gonna stay down here all day.
Thank God.
Oh, man, shut up. Molly. I'm gonna count to 3 and then I'm out of here. 1, 2, 3.
You want to kiss my butt?
And whenever, because I'm a very like timid guy, like I'm not very confrontational, but I like to think that I want this type of like energy, no nonsense personality, just like,
you ever heard of a phone?
talking back to the guy, yelling at her, do you want to kiss my butt?
Yeah, the construction were shut
up. You ever heard of a telephone? You want to kiss my butt? Yeah,
and
so great.
But yeah.
And just a kind of a great, like, quintessential New York moment of just someone screaming, shut up.
Yes, yes. Oh, but what I was going to mention, in her apartment with the sisters, later on we get Willie goes to the apartment to go take care of Oda Mae. And as they're running through the apartment trying to escape him, they go down like the bedroom hallway, and on the outside of one of the bedroom doors, there's a poster for The Who.
Yes, I did catch that.
And I'm like, that's so like Whoopi Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a like Whoopi thing.
It's such a weird Whoopi choice.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think the sisters are listening to this are listening to The Who, you know? And it's just a specific Whoopi thing, especially in Jumpin' Jack Flash. She listened to
the Stones.
Everything. Yeah, she listened to everything. She listened to like classic rock, and she listened to like soul music and like R&B and like and so I don't know. I just thought that was a really kind of an interesting little character note that this poster would be on the.
I really did find myself looking at posters this time around. I mean, even down the subway when he's running past Cats, you know.
Yes, that was peak Cats Now and Forever.
Yes,
yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so Carl starts putting things together. Shifty Carl starts putting things together about like, you know,
that they know stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I think it's after Oda Mae goes to see Molly. Mm-hmm. And yeah, when she, you know, Sam is like giving her all this like inside info. These cops that are like brushing Molly.
They're doing a pretty piss poor job.
Fuck these cops.
Yeah.
That lady cop, get the hell out of here. And then, but even the guy, you know, it's Stephen Root. Yeah.
Yep. Baby Root.
Baby Root, yeah. Like even him coming back with
the file.
With Oda Mae's file.
With all those other wigs.
Mm-hmm. I do have to say that he said something about Oda Mae pulling a job in 62. Whoopi's not that. Whoopi would have been 12.
I don't know if the math really works out.
Like, I don't know. Or 67 or something, but it was like still, I don't know. Like she would have been a child.
Little child swindler.
Yeah.
I love all of the mugshots of Whoopi though.
Yes.
Of the different wigs. Yeah.
It's almost like a Simpsons gag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they've used that exact gag later on. Yeah.
But they are no help and just telling basically telling Molly, you know, she's...
You know what else we noticed last night, or that I noticed last viewing, was like there's huge patches of this movie with no Demi.
Sure.
Right.
There's huge patches where I'm like, we haven't seen Demi in a while.
Yeah. I mean, it's that whole middle section where they're Where they're going to the bank.
Well, we're following Oda Mae and Sam. We're following Sam and Subway Guy. We're following Carl and Willie.
We're following them go to the bank.
Yeah.
And then Molly comes back into the story.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we need to have the big, well, it's before sexy coffee moment.
Oh, my God. Okay, well, first of all, too, like, we mentioned how early in the movie that Sam gets, like, taken out. It's even before that we have the sexy the sexy clay pot scene, which is iconic. It's like in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, first 15.
It's literally like minute 14.
And
it's
that song will play in the background forever.
The whole
Oh yeah. Who did the score? It's Maurice Jarre. He did like.
Oh, you're talking about like the motif
he
of the soundtrack.
He did like Dr. Zhivago, and then he builds it into the score later in the movie.
Yeah, but you're talking about
Unchained Melody.
Unchained Melody.
But yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
Righteous
Great
Brothers.
score, but
yeah.
And
you know what I thought was very interesting at the time as a little kid? I was like, Patrick Swayze must have a deal with one of the who what are the brothers that did Unchained Melody?
The Righteous Brothers?
The Righteous Brothers.
Well, this cover, yeah.
This cover of it. One of the Righteous Brothers sings "Time of Your Life" with
sure. Oh my goodness.
Jennifer, what's her name? Yeah, and as a kid, and I was Dirty Dancing super fan.
Yeah.
And
episode 100 of our show.
I stole my sister's soundtrack, and so I was like, "That's weird. That's like the same." And he's doing 2 movies in a row with like big songs from this
I like
one
to
dude
think.
from the
I
Righteous
like to
Brothers.
think that there's like a behind the scenes story where Patrick like said that we have to use this song.
Yeah. And I love these songs that come back into popular existence.
Sure.
Yeah.
This apparently originally was a Best Original Song nominee like back in the 50s.
Oh, get out of here! It was for a
get outta
movie.
here. What it was for?
a movie called
wow.
Unchained.
Oh,
I
So-
didn't
oh,
know
that's
that.
clever. Unchained Melody.
So yeah, so just these things coming back
Okay.
into. I mean, we've seen it, based on a popular cover of something.
I mean,
but how this
I
just-
guess it kind of happened to Kate Bush this past summer.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, with Bohemian Rhapsody and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's always nice when it kind of brings a song back into public.
It's nice for their estate. They get some money. Mhm.
Yeah.
But this song
Now,
was
see, does Bill Medley get money from that? Does like the original writers? Like, does everybody get a piece of that pie? Who knows?
Good question.
Also, watching that the sexy pottery scene last night, I'm just like, we got to get you out of those jeans, Patrick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the setup is that they had gone to bed. The setup is they go to bed, they go to sleep,
right.
say goodnight in the bed, in their weirdly small bedroom.
Yeah.
In this huge loft. And then he wakes up to her now spinning pottery.
Yeah, what time is it?
Yeah, I can't sleep. What time is it? In jeans.
Right.
Like he put jeans on to go downstairs.
Is this like them trying to avoid the R?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because is this PG-13?
I think it is, right?
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
is.
It's just sexy
They took me
enough
to see
that
it.
you can watch it with your parents.
Yes.
And not be too weirded.
We can touch your abs, but we're not taking off your pants, okay?
But she's only wearing that like menswear shirt, and like I don't know if she's wearing anything underneath that because he like lifts that up sometimes, and you're like,
Yeah, I
all
guess
right,
different
Demi
rules
Moore,
for the ladies.
yeah, your booty is on full effect here. But yeah, you're right. Unchained Melody is throughout the movie, and that little bit of score.
Yeah. And I did love reading for a sexy pottery moment that when he comes behind her, that it wasn't supposed to fall apart.
Oh. It
Oh,
falls because
okay.
it falls down immediately,
falls-
and they laugh.
Yeah, it
He
wasn't supposed
laughs.
to happen.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be like,
yeah. He laughs, and she says something about like, he's like, oh, was that a masterpiece or whatever? And she's like, oh, not anymore.
So they just
But they're kind of like
rolled with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. Okay.
I like that.
They stayed in it because he laughs first, like, oh fuck, like knocked over your thing. Okay, and then she just like redoes
Yeah,
it, and then
yeah.
they start going on from there. Okay, I like.
But yeah. But yes, thank you. We had to go back to the iconic.
Yeah, that shit is like boom. First 14.
Did we
minutes of
tell
the
you,
movie.
side tangent about Demi Moore, did we tell you our story of a run-in that we had
No.
last month when we saw Moonage Daydream? That we
Saw
were
the David Bowie documentary,
David Bowie documentary.
Moonage Daydream, and sitting in front of us in the movie theater with her little friends, we saw Scout Willis.
Oh,
because we heard
Yeah.
one of her friends say Scout, or Pete heard it, and then he showed me.
Well, I thought it was Alana Haim.
Oh.
And because they were like young kids, and they were like
They look like industry kids.
They were dressed really hipstery, but like in that way that was like,
oh, your
like, outfit costs more than my life.
You have
right
money.
now. Yeah, they look like poor but expensive. Like it costs a lot of money to look this cheap.
And when you heard that name in an LA theater, you're like, oh,
and
there's
it
so
was
many.
in Burbank. And when he said Scout, I was like, thought it was Alana Haim, Scout at Scout Willis. And I went to her Instagram, and I was like, that is absolutely Scout.
She definitely looks like her mom.
Scout, Rumor, Tallulah. Right?
Rumor's the eldest,
Yeah.
Scout is the middle, and Tallulah is the youngest. Yeah, and they all have fun middle names too, but I only remember Tallulah Bell. I forget Scout.
I think that she had Rumor like a little bit before she made this movie too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think that she had one kid already.
Yeah. That would make sense around our age.
Yeah. Where were we before I took us back to? I took us back to the.
Well, we had gone
to
to Oda. We hadn't had, here's your apple you love, and Willie in the apartment. Willie coming back to the apartment.
Coming back to the apartment. Well, we haven't yet addressed. I mean, you kind of mentioned a little bit the bank scene.
Oh my god.
The Rita Miller. Do you have a nice dress? And she looks at him like, what? Now, my question was, as we were watching this, I was like, did this scene win her this Oscar? Because this scene is everything.
A tour de force.
It's
I
great.
mean, Molly You and Danger Girl is great.
Yeah.
And
outside of
all that
the
stuff.
loft of her yelling is also really good.
Outside of the loft. And my favorite, Orlando? Damn, girl, what you do to your hair?
That is so funny.
Do you like it? It's Autumn Sunrise. I say
Sunrise.
that all the time.
He does.
Autumn
Yep.
Sunrise. But I think this scene is so like the
showcase,
the costume. I wrote the wrong name.
Yeah.
All that shit, like, we can give Anne Hathaway shit for winning an Oscar for one song, but like, I think like this scene is so memorable that it's just like people are there. Is it a booth? Is it a voting booth when you vote for the Oscars? I picture people voting in a booth. It's not a booth.
Probably a really fun scene to see with a crowd in a theater too.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's so reactive, and it's really all on her.
Yeah.
For everything that Sam is doing to her, and
Yeah.
it's just so damn funny, and the gas and how she has to roll with these stories.
Yeah, and she interacts with several people, so with each person, it's a little different kind of thing. The first lady, she has to sign her name on the card, and she signs the wrong. I signed the wrong name, and it's just like, the woman's like, what? And then like the guy who doesn't remember her, and the security guard, and then finally with the nuns, and just like not wanting to give up the check. And that's an old gag of like, I'm not going to give you the check, and like pulling back and forth and all that. But it's like,
you see with the
$4 million.
Yeah, you see a lot of Dolores Van Cartier.
Yeah.
Just the facial anguish, and it's just
and it just Whoopi in heels and like all in this dress and the hat and everything, and it's just like
walking in the heels and turning and spitting at him, raspberry at him.
Yeah. Oh, what is he? Does he tell her to get rid of the gum or something? Does she spit out a gum? No, I'm thinking that's Julia Roberts.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's Pretty Woman. But yeah, this scene is like it's. I look forward to it when I'm watching the movie. It was like, oh my god, and it's funny. It holds up.
What'd she say? What's wrong with my dress? Or
the shoes. I think he says like, when they first round the corner.
Yes,
they're talking about
to begin.
Yeah. But like this, it's like purple. And like, oh my god, it's great.
It's everything.
It's a good like church.
Yeah,
dress,
I think
right.
I think
It's like a church dress.
It's like
her church lady outfit. Yeah,
church lady outfit.
Yeah, with the hat and everything.
I picture it was thought of.
Yeah. And like, is she wearing gloves?
Yeah, I
feel
think
like
so.
she's wearing gloves. Yeah, because when she's tug of war with the
gotta be a little fancy.
Tug of war with the nun.
I mean, Josh and I are huge Oscar fans, and it is kind of wild to think this won the acting Oscar and supporting actress, and there had not been a black winner
Since
an
Hattie,
actress
right?
since Hattie.
Wow,
it's stunning.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy, but it's also such a fun comedic performance that really outside of a Tomei,
Sure.
we just don't get a lot of, and it's so memorable. And I think for both of us rewatching this again, that what really holds up is the humor in her scenes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
do you know, Scott? Do you have queued up who she won against?
Okay, she won against Laura Dern's mom. Diane
Ladd for
Wild at Heart. Let me see if I can get this off the top of my head before you look it up. Diane Ladd for Wild at Heart. Mary McDonald for Dances with Wolves. Who else? Annette Bening for The Grifters.
It's The Grifters.
And then we get Whoopi. Who is the fifth?
Wow, you're
who am I missing?
And we're scrolling to the we're going through the 70s.
I'm missing
Tell me who you said.
Yeah,
I said Mary McDonald, Diane Ladd,
Mary McDonald for Dances with Wolves,
Annette
Diane
Bening,
Ladd, Heart, Annette Bening, The Grifters.
Ooh, a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one.
I always think what's her name from Field of Dreams was nominated, but she did not. I think that she was probably sixth place that year.
Good for you for getting 4, but it's
Who's the
Lorraine
fifth?
Bracco for Goodfellas.
Lorraine Bracco for Goodfellas. That's the thing about like the year of 1990.
Those
there
are
was
some heavy hitters.
There were some huge movies
Dances
in 1990.
with Wolves,
Yeah.
Goodfellas, shit. Yeah, even The Grifters was,
And I always like the story that Whoopi tells that when they were all at, I don't know where, if they did this at like the Shrine in 1990 or 91, that she told everyone, okay, like regardless of what happens, the winner is buying us all lunch.
I love that.
And when she won, she sent invites to all of the 4 women, and they had like a little like luncheon.
That is so cute.
And she had like a little chocolate Oscar for all of them.
We love that.
I want to say that I've seen, I think Annette on The View or something
Talk about that,
and they
yeah.
were talking about it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. What a time for the big studio film.
yeah.
But yeah, like 1990 had Ghost, Pretty Woman, 2 massive movies that made a lot of money and ran for probably almost a year. Field of Dreams, Goodfellas, Misery, like huge movies in 1990.
Godfather 3.
Godfather 3, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't really think I was. I think I really remember the Hannibal Lecter moment, but something tells me that I was watching my parents watch Dances with Wolves at some point.
Right? Yeah.
I definitely remember my parents renting Dances with Wolves when I was a kid. I mean, that movie was massive.
So Joe Pesci wins for Goodfellas, Best Supporting.
It's the year that Kathy Bates
Jeremy
won.
Irons for Reversal of Fortune, and Kathy Bates for Misery.
What a fun year!
That's a fun foursome for those photo ops.
And then
in genre,
Kevin Costner won director
Misery,
and also Best Picture.
Yeah, Kevin Costner wins Best Director and Best Picture. Dances with Wolves.
All the genres going on,
and Kevin Costner produced Dances with Wolves, so he has 2 Oscars for that year. Yeah. None for acting.
and also, I mean, Ghost got in that Best Picture lineup, which you would think now a movie like this would struggle to probably even get in the top 10 now. But it probably had no problem getting into the 5 nominees just because it was just so loved at the time.
Yeah, I mean, when you have such a success like that, almost unavoidable at that time. But yeah, what a fun year.
Best Original Song was from Dick Tracy.
Oh, that's Sondheim's
Academy
Oscar?
Award-winning Dick Tracy.
Oh, Sondheim's Oscar, yeah.
Sooner or later, I always get my man, parenthetical.
He had to eat
from Dick Tracy. Yeah, Stephen Sondheim.
It would have been wild
Music
if
and
that.
lyrics.
It would have been wild
Who
if
performed that?
Madonna?
Yeah.
She.
Wow.
That's the one, right? I can't believe it's all the same year.
Yeah, that's
she did
wild.
The big show on
I
she
don't
did a
remember
whole...
her performing at the Academy Awards.
Yeah,
I love that.
I mean, I definitely remember when she performed the year Evita was nominated.
Right.
Yeah. You have to look that up.
It would have been.
She's got
we'll
a
look it
bow
up.
and everything.
It would have
got a bow.
It would have been wild if Dick Tracy would have been Al Pacino's Oscar, which I feel like was probably pretty close. Is this going to be like our last opportunity to give Al Pacino an Oscar, I guess Dick Tracy will do.
Big Boy Capri. Why the hell did he get nominated for that?
Al Pacino.
That's a stupid role.
He was like,
that is not an Oscar-worthy performance.
They were like, nope, we're going to save it for a hooah.
Yeah, come on. That's dumb. Oh, my God. Dick Tracy won a lot. Art direction.
Yeah.
Makeup.
Well,
Damn.
well, Dick Tracy's a very cool-looking movie.
Yeah, but it's terrible.
And Warren Beatty's baby to this day,
Yeah.
owning the kind of rights to Dick Tracy, which is so interesting that here is Annette here.
Yeah, true. That's right. That's funny. Forget Annette Bening kind of bursting onto the scene so early. I always kind of remember her kind of being this like Hollywood newcomer, like when she came around. But that's just how old I am.
Her one scene in Postcards from the Edge. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, which is also that year.
Wow.
Yeah, they were up for something in the original song.
Oh, Meryl, an actress. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no, that's the year. I don't think Meryl got a Best Actress nominee though.
Yes, she did. Postcards from the Edge.
Never mind.
Best
Okay.
Actress.
I think I'm thinking of Shirley.
Yeah,
That didn't get it.
No, she didn't. Yeah, she didn't get it. She didn't get it. But yeah,
It
I mean,
twirled up.
but it's like Whoopi Goldberg, Oscar-winning actress, well deserved. This movie is great. It's so memorable. We love this character, and yeah, man. When did she EGOT? Was it the Tony? Was the last thing?
I think it was the Tony for The Color Purple.
Yeah.
Or
maybe
she also
one of her
produced
Emmys.
Millie. Yeah, it's like
maybe one of her Emmys was.
Did she have multiple Tonys for producing?
Whoopi definitely has a Tony for producing Millie, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's one of those interesting EGOTs.
Yeah,
does the Grammy
and her Emmys for hosting?
Does the Grammy come for comedy album?
For her one-woman show, that's probably likely. If I'm not sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We'll look that one up.
And you know what, Scott? Even if it failed one kind of Emmy, The View did finally get one for daytime.
Sure. Does that count for the EGOT?
It's hosting and it's for daytime.
The daytime
but
does
counts.
count.
Yeah.
It's interesting now that when Whoopi is sort of going into her retirement years, we're seeing her act more.
Yeah, we're like back now with
Because it seems like she does The View, but she sometimes takes breaks. She takes breaks off The View to probably film movies.
Build that into the contract,
Right.
Let me out when I want to go out.
So she won her Grammy in '85 for Whoopi Goldberg direct from Broadway, which we have on vinyl.
Awesome.
Yep. Okay.
Awesome.
That's what I figured it was for.
Yeah. It says she's only the second solo female performer, not part of a duo or team at the time to receive the award. It does not say who the first one was.
Cool.
But she was the first African-American woman to win the Grammy for Best Comedy Recording.
Has Jennifer Hudson EGOT'd yet?
Yes, she has.
Okay.
She just got it with the Emmy, right?
Sure.
Yes.
That she got for...
Oh, Gersh.
Blank.
Oh, boy. Well, yeah. I can watch the Whoopi scenes in this movie.
Oh, they're so good.
Over and over.
And that's also the thing about Ghost is that the love story, it's very generic. It's a very straightforward Hollywood romance. And without a character like Whoopi, this movie would not be good. I think that you really need Oda Mae to just inject this movie with some humor and some fun.
It kind of rounds it out.
Yeah, it rounds it out.
Just
that I think that without this character, I mean, this movie would not really be all that remembered.
It adds so much.
Yeah.
It adds so much. And just so the gays do not kill me, we're going to have to figure out what the heck Jennifer... Thank you.
Okay.
It's the Tony for a Strange Loop this year.
Oh, that's what that was the last one. Well,
because I knew that it just happened.
But her Emmy was also for something weird, though. It was for like a streaming thing.
Okay.
It was a movie, but it was like a digital platform movie.
So many ways to wiggle
but it
in
got
now.
an Emmy because, the thing is, it's like these digital, or it was like a video game or something. Her Emmy's weird. That's the weird one.
The weird one.
But yeah, at any rate,
I mean,
we did not talk though about my. Oops, my coffee spilled. I got to take off my shirt.
Carl, any excuse,
you little sneak.
Any excuse to see Tony Goldwyn take that shirt off, I'm fine with.
This man is manipulation 101.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, I would probably let this man ruin my life.
And he was about
Let's
to
be real. Yep.
ruin her life.
And he's trying to win you over with a damn apple. I brought your favorite kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Or was it a pear?
It was a apple pear, a Japanese apple pear, whatever that is. Or those pears that taste like apples?
It's an Asian pear.
Your mom got us like something in Hawaii. Some
Delicious.
really good pears.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of an Asian pear. That's
No,
like
it's
an
not
apple. That's like an apple and a pear.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it was.
He's got no qualms, no remorse.
Because that's the thing. It's like, yes, he's like in the hole for $4 million. He's got like shady people after him, like all this stuff. So it's like he's got to figure out what to do. But it's like these people were his friends,
Right?
and now he's just like, hey, like, does he really want to like bone down with Molly, or is this just kind of? Is this all just to get the address book?
Right? Is it just
know?
I mean, was
like-
he sick of being the third wheel all of these years?
Yeah, I think now they would like address that more.
I
Him
think
just
he
being
is in love with Molly.
Fuck these two. I think he's in love with Sam.
I think he's in love with Sam too.
Yeah, he's like gotta watch them kiss and be all over each other.
Yeah.
But that is interesting because his desperation levels before he's outright losing his mind.
Yes.
At the end,
Yeah.
it's like it has to kind of slowly build up as he's getting more desperate for
Yeah.
the money and to obviously as the ghosts and he's obviously getting caught by
Yeah.
things beyond his control.
I do love that at a certain point he's just like, all right, Sam's ghost.
Yep.
All right, Sam's ghost. Let's do this.
Their big
Let's dance, ghost of my friend.
their big fight at the end.
And he's fully just fighting a ghost.
Yeah.
And he's just like, let's do it.
And ghost keyboard tap murderer.
Yes. Well, that was a Control Z.
Oh,
That was, not a Control Z.
You
Control V.
suck.
That was a Control V, just very easily. He
I
typed it
always
once.
forget. I always forget how graphic his death scene is at the end.
Yeah,
When he's impaled by that window.
it's on screen.
and
Yeah.
he did it to himself because he swung the hook.
I said as we're watching it, I was like, "Is this going to be that Batman thing where all these
Swayze-
people are dying around
Swayze can't murder
he's
him.
not murdering them. They're just getting themselves
Oh, we know.
running into traffic."
Oh no, Pete. Swayze has to look away like this.
Yeah, Willie Lopez ran into traffic. He was shoving him towards the traffic, but
With the sound.
the whooshing sound.
Oh no, the sound of the damn devil
Oh,
gremlins.
Yeah.
fuck. The sound of the devil shadow people. Awful. Well, let me also say this, too. The devil shadow people that took away Willie Lopez were scary because they did this thing where there were shadows on the ground and they came up.
Yeah.
And then there were no more shadows on the ground. And then after they took them, the shadows like laid back down. And it was really cool, really effective. The shadow ghost people that took
In the loft.
in the loft, they had like weird like eyes cut out.
Yeah.
Like they looked a little bit more like
They're like coming out of the pipes.
They looked a little-
They looked a little more like school project ghosts.
I was going to say a little Night on Ball Mountain.
yeah, like they had like holes cut out of the shadows for like their eyes, but it's like they don't need all that.
And why is the noise so disturbing? Because it's apparently the sound of a baby crying played
There
backwards
you go.
slowly.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah. And we all have that weird thing in our heads about like a baby crying that will like wake us up out of our sleep or
They
something.
played it backwards, all creepy.
Yeah, don't like it.
I know the scene that we have not talked about.
Yes.
is
Yes.
when we briefly talked about Orlando,
Oh.
the whole jumping into other people's bodies that you
Yeah.
can sort of take possession of someone.
Oh, yeah.
The big romantic scene where he
I mean,
takes possession over Whoopi. I love when she like sits in the chair. Like, I'm ready. Just do it. Do
and
it.
then the whooshing. Like
do it.
the-
Do it before I change my mind.
Yeah.
The whooshing wind.
But also when you break the scene down, even though you see the Swayze
Right.
and Demi like having this moment
I
with
think
each
as
other.
a kid, I never put two and two together. That
yeah,
she's doing
and
all
that
this
doesn't
with
really hit
Whoopi.
you until you're an adult. That is Whoopi in the scene that she's having this intimate moment with.
We're just seeing this. Yeah.
Yeah, and as a kid, I never really like. I don't know if that's thought it was like astral projection or something, but
Hidden queer moment.
yeah, it really is though.
Yeah, right, because we see the hands and then
Yeah,
If you were to ever dare to make a sequel to Ghost, I want to see Molly and Oda Mae Brown living as roommates in this loft. I suppose the sister.
Sister's got to go somewhere.
She's gonna give like their apartment to the sisters, and Oda Mae's gonna live with Molly in this gigantic loft. And I guess that they're just gonna go around and solve mysteries and talk to ghosts. I think
maybe they have like an occult bookstore like in the loft.
It can be a series on like USA in the mid '90s. I don't know, but I want to see these two. Tracking down ghosts and finishing some like unsolved business,
like a what's the show with Jennifer Love, Ghost Whisperer,
right.
A Ghost Whisperer kind of a thing. Sure,
CBS old ladies love it.
They would love it.
But yeah, I could, Demi, Whoopi, we're rebooting and revisiting things again, and even Whoopi with this possible Sister Act 3. I could see a little, true crime action. Maybe they both have a romance. This time somebody pisses somebody off and becomes, hungry for money again. And we got to deal with it.
Yeah,
they got to go to hell.
Got to go to the other place. Oh my gosh.
I always think it's such a buzzkill of what Demi followed this movie up with.
Oh, what was it?
Nothing But Trouble.
Oh.
Such a weird choice that I get at the moment of when you're offered a comedy directed by Dan Aykroyd with Chevy Chase and John Candy. You just got to take it.
1991.
But I'm sure that Demi read that script and was just like, oh, shit. What am I doing in this crazy movie?
Yeah, that movie's wild.
Nothing But Trouble. I grew up on it. Wild movie.
Wow. Never seen that one.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's like, it's visually ugly. Tupac's in it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Digital Underground have a song.
If we are learning anything in 2022, it's you probably did not have a good time with Bill Murray or Chevy Chase back then.
Probably not.
in the 90s, in the 80s, in the 70s. Anytime, really.
And also, like, Ivan Reitman, Anna Faris just did that interview where she was talking about how awful he was to work with in My Super Ex-Girlfriend.
What a joy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Demi Moore's career is very interesting because I feel like all three of us still consider Demi to be a massive movie star. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, I mean, I don't want to say that her star faded in the 90s because she's still Demi Moore, but it just didn't really go to that next level that, say, like a Nicole Kidman or Julia Roberts went in the later 90s. Maybe just G.I. Jane was such a bust that she didn't end up getting a lot of jobs after G.I. Jane and Striptease. I don't know. She had the career comeback with Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, a movie that Pete and I love. We love her character in that movie. She looks fucking incredible in it, and she's so much fun as the supervillain. Yeah. And then I feel like she didn't really follow it up with anything.
Yeah.
Right. It's like I think she's doing stuff now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that Charlie's Angels just being such a cool comeback moment.
Yeah, it felt like a big comeback for her, and that was 20 years ago.
She needs to do something like an HBO show. Like Mike White needs to put her in like season 3 of White Lotus or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if Ryan Murphy's going to do this feud and using
all
these women,
Oh, is she in the new feud?
Is she? Okay.
Is she in the Capote one?
Good question.
Hold on.
I was just like, we got Naomi Watts, we got Callista Flockhart.
I think we'd have heard about it by now. I don't think she's in it.
Quite a cast.
But but I mean,
Demi Moore joins Feud Season 2 FX Variety. Reported in September, so she is.
He nabbed her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her.
And she's just one of those massive stars that I always think that, like, of course, there's still great roles left in Demi.
Yeah, you just brought back the memory of Striptease trailer in the seeing that as a kid in the movie theater.
Right? Yeah.
Pete and I love Showgirls, but I have tried to sit through Striptease, and it is not fun. It is not the camp good time that Showgirls is.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, Demi did have really big success in the 80s and the 90s, starting off with like kind of John Hughes stuff. She worked with Emilio on a couple of things. And then, we had after this, we get Disclosure.
Ooh.
We get
Indecent Proposal.
You know, she had a good streak.
She had like an erotic thriller run in the
thrillers.
90s.
The Scarlet Letter, right?
Yeah, the Scarlet Letter.
Scarlet Letter, also a movie that was a big bust. That I think that was supposed to probably get her Best Actress nominated, and it just didn't really work out.
She has this kind of iconic husky voice.
Yeah.
That's just very Demi. But I think she also kind of had a kooky public persona.
Yeah.
Right? That I think maybe polarized people about her. I think some
gave her
people were
kids
just like,
she gave her kids kooky names.
and then they went off and they moved to Idaho or whatever. Before, you know, like nowadays, everybody just goes and buys like half of Utah or whatever, or Wyoming.
Every major star now has property in the Paradise Valley. In Montana.
They go to Wyoming, they go to Montana, they go to Idaho.
Right.
But like, but this was like Roseanne and Tom Arnold stuff when her and Bruce literally bought a town in Idaho.
I thought that it was Kim Basinger that bought the town. Kim Basinger
was a thing.
also bought a town. Yeah, so that was a thing with huge movie stars in the 80s. Yep.
But it was also a thing of, we are so big, we have a hand in Planet Hollywood. We are, our husbands or ourselves are just in all these movies, and we just want to get away from LA. And it was kind of not the early days. People have been doing this in Hollywood forever, but back in the day, it used to just be like Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Right.
But in the 90s, it was like, I'm going to Idaho.
Yeah.
And going in the middle of nowhere and going to buy up a fucking town.
Before we were buying islands.
Yes. You know, and then the kooky names for all the girls, and then the Vanity Fair cover with the pregnancy.
Oh, yeah. The Annie
pregnancy
Leibovitz
Vanity
cover.
Fair cover was hugely polarizing. People were mad.
Yeah.
They were mad.
How dare you sexualize this pregnant
You
woman?
know what I mean? But they were mad at her.
Yep.
They were mad at her
Crazy.
for making the choice to do it. And she had the short hair in that. You know?
A pre-Instagram life.
You know what I love that she's in? A Few Good Men.
Oh,
I
that's
love
good.
A Few
Yeah.
Good Men. She's good in that.
She is good in that.
That's a Tom movie that I'm just like, it's one of those movies that's just those 90s, like,
Yeah.
not political, but I mean, just
These procedural court dramas
Procedural,
that
there you
were
go.
massive
Yeah.
hits. I mean,
Yeah.
this was like
Yeah.
gave way to like Law and Order.
The Firm,
Jag.
I mean,
Pelican
yeah.
Brief.
Pelican Brief. I mean, I don't think the Pelican Brief was
How many movies
was
that
that big of a hit.
had that as a component, like even parts of Philadelphia or
Oh,
yeah, I
The
mean,
Client,
Yeah.
Time to Kill.
Yeah. So, I mean, Demi did have a very big run
Yeah.
in the 90s, but you're right. There was a point, and it didn't start, again, this conversation's been going on for all of Hollywood, but I think she kind of became maybe a little talking point in when you hit 40 and you're a mother, the roles dry up.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of
You
those
know?
early conversations.
Yeah.
And also, she was dating Ashton
and then
Kutcher.
she starts dating Ashton Kutcher,
Cooch.
starts dating the Cooch.
Yep.
And then she has a little revival because of that.
And also, I mean-
the whole thing was she was 40.
Sure.
And she was like this old hag.
And he's
Younger than you.
And he's in his 20s.
And he was like 28. Yeah.
And I also remember the
That's
whole
so
thing with like Bruce.
but
is
like,
that,
big deal. Like, who cares? Now, who fucking
Yeah.
cares? And 40, like, 40's young for stars, like for women. I don't know. I feel like nowadays it's like all these women that the gays like 40. Come on, that's so young. Mindy Kaling's 40.
Yeah.
You know,
I always really liked with Bruce and Demi is that they were always. I mean, I'm talking about that. He's no longer
Like,
with us,
yeah.
but like they still remain very close.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
even when she was seeing Ashton, that they made it a point to still sort of be friendly with each
Yeah,
other,
that's super
which I
cool.
love. Mm-hmm.
That's super cool.
Yeah. And so it's like, I think she has a kind of unearned reputation as kind of being maybe a little bit of an outsider or kind of a weird, kooky person. But I don't know.
I don't think that she's ever also had a reputation of being a bitch, too.
No,
of
yeah.
being unpleasant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think everybody in Charlie's Angels had nothing but great things to say about her, and this comeback again at 40 from beyond the grave, Methuselah. Like
Well,
still able to read lines off of a piece of paper.
That scene,
at the wise old age of 40.
We definitely talked about it in our Charlie's Angels episode, but that scene where she gets out of the ocean with the surfboard and she just walks up to her car and just gets in it and drives off.
This Rari that she gets in a bathing suit, no shoes, and just
we have no idea where she's keeping the keys.
Oh, but it doesn't matter.
She just drives right off. It's so fucking rad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a Lambo actually.
Yeah,
no biggie.
No, yeah. But I mean, to me, and you know what? I don't give a shit that she's getting fillers. I don't care that she
still looks great.
Walking in fashion, like whatever. She's fucking Demi Moore. That's at the end of the day, she's so much cooler than like anybody.
Yes,
she's cooler than you, listener. You know, like she's just got so much fucking like cachet. She's Demi Moore, man. That dress in Indecent Proposal is iconic. Like she was a moment for so long, and it's like, and you watch this, and she's fucking crying.
One of the great movie criers ever.
She's crying in the police station, and she's crying with Carl, and it's just like,
one of the best.
Damn,
it always
so good.
The scene that always gets me is right before Sam dies when she's talking to him about saying "I love you."
Yeah.
And none of this ditto bullshit. Ditto. What's ditto?
Poor Patrick spending the rest of his life having women come up to him on the street saying ditto.
Ditto.
Right?
Yeah, seriously. Are you really asking what ditto means?
Oh no!
Okay.
I was
going to say because I'll tell you.
I was quoting.
Oh yeah,
Whoopi.
yeah. Whoopi.
What the hell's ditto?
Listeners, if you're not familiar, a ditto machine is like an early Xerox, like before they had
early
like
copy machine.
machines. It was a mechanical copy machine.
Was probably huge too.
Oh, and they were the ones that the ink smelled. Mm-hmm. And they were purple. Well, it was purple in my school.
Ooh, purple.
The ink was purple. Was the ink not purple on your ditto machines? Did you have dittos? Probably not. You probably had Xerox by that point.
I don't think at school, no.
You guys probably had Xerox. In elementary school in the early 80s, probably the very like first or second grade, they had a ditto machine. And you fucking cranked it. You cranked it like a damn Gutenberg Bible. You cranked the damn thing, and it came out printed like a newspaper, and it was purple, and it smelled. And sometimes the ink would still be wet.
You cranked that.
I'm telling you, ditto machine. Yeah. So, I mean, good old Demi. It is pronounced Demi, not Demi.
Demi Moore.
I always remember my mom telling me that. She's like, it's Demi. It's like, oh, okay. I don't know where she heard it. Probably on a talk
I feel
show.
like your mom loves.
Oprah. Oh, she loved Demi.
Bruce and Demi.
Oh, she loved
Bruce and Demi together.
Oh, she loved them together. She was not
got a
happy
huge
to see
kick out of all of those girls' names.
Oh, she loved the names. She every time she had another one, she loved it. And oh my goodness. And the whole thing with the Planet Hollywood was that it's Bruce. It's Arnie.
Oh, yeah. We talked about this in our Commando episode.
And it's Sly. And the whole thing was that they all started to have kids, and they all started to have girls. And it was like a huge deal. That like these big like macho men, like none of them could have a damn son.
Until Patrick, probably.
Patrick Schwarzenegger. Yeah. Which boo on him.
And the other one with
and the other
who was just on Dancing with the Stars.
Just on Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
He's like a little mini Arnold.
Very cute.
Yeah. And you know what though? My favorite part about him was that when they would ask him about like, oh, does Arnold dance? Like he danced in True Lies. Like does your father? How good of a dancer is your father? Is your father dance? And he's like, well, I'm half Mexican, so I'm a pretty good dancer.
I got this.
He's like the entire other side of my family knows how to dance. I'm like, you tell him.
You
whatever
tell him
your name
I'm
is.
not just my father.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, Whoopi, Demi. We talked a little bit about Patrick Swayze. Just being, having a stellar reputation.
I feel like we devoted all of episode 100 with Millie just gushing about how fucking cool Patrick Swayze is.
Yeah. And, Josh, me and you were talking about seeing Tony Goldwyn very recently in Lovecraft Country on HBO. So he is working.
Yeah. He is making a movie, or he just finished directing a new movie, too.
Right. And here's where the Ghost family kind of comes full circle because Whoopi just finished filming a movie directed by Tony Goldwyn.
Oh,
Love that.
love it. Okay, I wonder if he directed shirtless.
But you're right. Lovecraft, shirtless in Lovecraft,
Yeah.
and becoming a even middle-aged sex symbol in Scandal.
Yeah, Scandal.
I mean,
I was gonna
he's
say,
just-
didn't he have a lot of like love scenes with Kerry Washington
So he's just
in Scandal? Like, good for him.
What are the movies that Tony Goldwyn has directed? He did Walk on the Moon with Viggo Mortensen and Diane
Oh, that's a good
Lane.
question.
Oh, he directed that?
He directed that.
Get out of here. And I had to ask Scott the other day, is Tony Goldwyn any relation to Metro Goldwyn Mayer MGM movie
is.
studio? And he is. There's a connection in there. But I mean, it's not like he had this like wonderful A-list career handed to him.
Right.
He's been a working actor
Yes.
his entire life.
I feel like
know?
he was sort of a working actor before
Yeah.
he got into directing.
Yes.
He
Yeah,
did
absolutely.
other Tony Goldwyn movies that you might remember, Pete. Someone Like You with Ashley Judd.
The movie that inspired the Kings of Leon song.
I can't remember what that movie had a weird working title.
Someone Like You with Ashley Judd. Is
Yeah.
that with Greg Kinnear?
Yes.
It was called Animal Husbandry.
Very good.
Don't ask me why. Another working title.
I
of
think
that movie.
that probably comes from like an episode of
Nice.
Conan or something. He's directed a lot of TV. I mean, The L Word, Grey's Anatomy. He has a working relationship with Shonda Rhimes, which is
Okay,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
The Last Kiss. I saw The Last Kiss with Zach Braff in the theater.
Wow.
Not a great
Lucky
movie.
you.
I know. I was the one.
But yeah, I just thought it was kind of cool to see that Whoopi. Just,
Yeah, that. I didn't know that. That is really cool.
Inappropriate behavior with Bobby Cannavale
awesome.
and Bob De Niro and Rose Byrne.
Yeah. All right.
We'll look out for it, Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, this. These are great people in this movie. There's a reason this movie has stood the test of time.
And also, I mean, I was talking about this last night when we were watching it. A movie that I feel like I cannot think of a huge studio movie like this anymore. They do not exist.
Yeah, and I think, like we just said, it's just the blending of all the different genres.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just don't see it much anymore.
Yeah, because it is remembered for being this great romance, but like so much of the movie is this like intrigue of like who done it and like what's going on, and so there is a little bit something in there like for the boyfriends and husbands
Yes.
that are going in, and then me as the kid, I'm just like whoopee.
And that's why it made over $500 million in 1990, which with inflation, how much would that be?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Stunning.
A lot of money.
Yeah. So I mean, go watch it.
I'm glad that we got to it. And
We'll go up to the star people.
yeah.
Yes, if you see the light, go into the light, because you may not know when your chance is coming.
Unless you have some unfinished business.
I was
going
to say, unless you have to like foil
Your murder?
your murderer, or your third wheel.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! And if you do, then go look for a spiritual advisor and jump in there. Yeah. Well, I was just going to mention all the other ghosts with Oda Mae, but we already talked about that.
Sure,
yeah. But yeah, I mean it's fun for the whole family.
Yeah. Watched it with my grandparents when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's
classic for a reason.
It's not streaming on anything right now other than rental.
Oh, it's on Prime?
I don't believe
It does,
so.
and it does pop up on TV.
It pops
does,
up on TV.
yeah.
I feel like it's always on probably like the Paramount Network or something. I bought Paramount has these new Blu-rays that they've been issuing of some of the classics,
look
and
cool.
that's what my copy is. So it's a very nice transfer. It's like a 4K scan.
Yeah.
If you want the Whoopi dress and the abs in high def,
I mean, first scene in the movie, you'll thank us later.
come in like a wrecking ball.
Yeah,
Josh,
absolutely.
thanks for joining us. I
Yes.
mean, we briefly have to cap off this conversation on the Oscars. I mean, I feel like we always just talk about the fucking Academy Awards whenever we're together. But sort of what are the movies that you're looking forward to going into the later half of the year, November, December?
It's definitely not like we felt last year, where we were. There was a scarcity this year it really feels like here are the holdovers.
Here are the holdovers.
Coming.
Spielberg was in the pandemic, and he came out of it with his unofficial biopic. Don't get Pete started on.
Yeah, but even
on the Fableman,
with Kenneth Branagh coming off a win for a thing that went into the pandemic, production himself. Mm-hmm. But I think with Babylon, we'll have this big wild orgy-filled 1920s Hollywood movie. Mm-hmm. We'll have another Avatar. We'll have a Whitney Houston movie. I mean, I think it's going to be a big holiday season.
Black Panther is going to make a lot of money. Yep. Wakanda Forever. I'm curious to see if Angela Bassett can make it into the conversation and supporting actress. It's been a while since she's been nominated. I mean, since What's Love Got to Do with It in like 93. So it's been a while. So that would be fun to see. Supporting actress is wide open. I mean, there's probably 15 actresses right now that have a decent shot into getting into that top 5.
Got a lot of women talking. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a kind of Michelle Yeoh and Cate Blanchett thing in lead, and I think I'm most curious this year to see how far nostalgia takes us, especially with Top Gun, which may get another re-release in December. Ooh. I wonder, Academy-wise, what they think of these giant popular movies and how far they go.
And especially this year we have Top Gun,
Black Panther,
Avatar, and is it going to be a conversation of only one of them can get in Best Picture, or all 3 of them going to be welcomed in? I don't know.
That's what I'm kind of most interested to see.
It's going to be an interesting season. I think The Fableman is going to take Best Picture and Best Director.
Likely.
I think there's going to be a lot of Spielberg love. It may not drag Michelle Williams across the finish line in Best Actress, but she'll probably make it in.
Yeah, and you may have like an Everything Everywhere All at Once kind of screenplay deal or something like that.
Also, is it going to be one of those things that Michelle Yeoh wins SAG and the Globe, and all of a sudden she's the front runner?
I feel like recently
possibly
we're just always waiting on that actress. Down to the wire. Yeah. Should be a year.
Am I the only person that doesn't want to see Babylon? I don't know.
I'm not wild about Damien Chazelle. I think he's a little overrated, but I am looking forward to Babylon.
Okay,
it's Hollywood from the 20s.
Yeah, and
Jean Smart in a headdress.
Jean Smart in a headdress, I'll take. But Margot Robbie looking so period specific. What is going on? Why she looks like Kelly Bundy, and it's not giving me 20s at all. Sorry about it. Yeah,
but there's an alligator.
Damien Chazelle can, go jump in the lake. Hate La La Land. So, Ghost. Thanks, guys. This was so much fun.
That was so fun.
Yes,
yeah, I'm glad that we finally got to it.
Yeah. We're looking forward to the Oscars, as always. But, Josh, come back again.
Thank you so much.
Always welcome.
You're always welcome on the show. I love the Josh episodes. Your last full episode was our Christmas episode. It was Hook.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We're heading back to the holidays.
I know. We're going back to the holiday season. We can watch
and putting the finishing touches on our. We have like 4 episodes in December that I have at least 2 of them planned. So
we have some open slots.
Mm-hmm.
Exciting
if
stuff.
you got some requests, listeners, send them our way for holiday movies. Got some open slots coming your way. But, until next time, Josh, thank you so much once again, and we will see you soon.
Bye, guys.
And thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks so much.
Yes, indeed. We love Ghosts. I can watch this movie once a month.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
So good.
I guess it's still kind of spooky, wrapping up spooky season.
We do some interesting movies in November, I've noticed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like last year we did Legend. We did Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Lunch.
But yeah, we get to some interesting movies on the docket for this month. So,
all right. Well, we'll see what's coming up. Thanks for listening, everybody. But I think it's that time in the episode.
Patreon shout-outs?
Patreon shout-outs. Yes, indeed. We want to say a big hello. Thank you to all of our patrons, including Alexis G, Thomas, Mark, Jackson, Millie, Darcy, Ted, Benny, Jamel, Melanie, Christopher, Susan, JJ, Shelby, Michael, Muffy, Paul, Jamie, Drew, Genevieve, Dawn, Joshua, Emma, Melly, Aaron, Melinda and Jim, Jessica, Nick and Shannon, Christine, and also Rufino.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys. Head over to patreon.com/movies that made us gay. You can check out all the supplemental and additional
We have a lot of
things.
Watch With Us commentaries.
Yes, indeed.
We'll be doing one for the month of November.
Yes, indeed. When you are a patron at the $10 level, you get a bonus episode, and it's a commentary track. Scott and I will watch a movie and record a commentary as the movie is playing.
I have some ideas of what we're going to do this month. So
Yeah.
we'll see. It'll at least be out before Thanksgiving, maybe a little after this episode airs.
Right on. When you sync up the commentary track with the movie, it's like you're watching it with us, or you can just listen to it as you would listen to a normal episode, and it plays like supplemental episode. They're really fun. So check that out. It's at patreon.com/movies that made us gay. There's a lot of extra supplemental features for you over there. And all of the donations that you so kindly provide go to us, keeping the podcast up and running and for you and ad free. So
yeah, we really appreciate it.
So how about that? We'd also love it if you would rate and review the show.
Give us 5 stars and write us some kind words. We would love to read them.
Yes, indeed. If you head over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can hit the 5-star rating, and you can also write a review. It's easy and it's free. And it helps us out. There's a review that we have not read yet from Apple Podcast listener Kelly Bumps. The review goes a little something like, the title of the review is The Breadth, The Depth. I love this podcast. I love Pete and Scott, and I love all these films. Take a brain vacation with these hubba movie husbands. I laugh until I pee every episode. 5 stars.
Love that.
Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, so go ahead and write a review just like that one, and we'll read it on the show.
You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Movies That Made Us Gay, and on Twitter at MTMUGPod.
Yes, indeed. And
we have not deleted our account yet.
No,
I noticed today everyone's deleting their account,
I know,
including Elvira.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Cassandra. Yeah. Alec Mappa deleted his. A lot of people are leaving Twitter. We all know why. So, maybe we'll do the same. We're still struggling. We're up and coming. Once we get that blue check, we're out of here.
Once we pay our $5.99 a month or something,
$8.
$8.
Because that does make a dent for us. We're not. We're no. Ashton Kutcher, who tweets a lot.
I mean, we're not the gay film Twitter mafia yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can follow us there. If you want to follow our personals, feel free to do that.
Yeah.
I am Pete, and I am at Peter Lasagna on Twitter still, but I don't remember the last thing I tweeted, and Instagram.
I'm Scott Youngballer on Instagram, and follow my letterbox.
Yes, indeed. We're very active on Instagram, so you can check us out there. So thanks for listening, everybody. This was a lot of fun. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.